Look familiar? Scenes like these are happening all over the galaxy right now. You could be next. That is, unless you make the most important decision of your life.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Huh? Me? Just hanging around.
Hey, hello. Hello, it's me. I don't see my face, though. Where's my face? I'm looking for my face, but I can't find it. What the heck? Where? Oh, there I be. I'm over here today. What's going on, TubeYube? I wanted to do a quick stream. Quick little stream and chit chat, talk about where we're at, what's going on. Gonna be doing a relatively short stream, getting into it, but I wanted to talk about where we are at with a few things. Sorry for the mess behind me. My kids are relentless. Wanted to quickly kind of show where we're at, technology wise, production progress wise, all of that fun jazz. So I suppose the big thing right out the gate is that we have pretty much all the recordings with the voice actors. There's a couple of extra lines that we're waiting on, but we have everything we need to get like the actual animation and production started. So a little bit what we'll be going over on stream today is the block out, and what did you say, Mad Dog? What'd you say? Did I finish recruiting new people? So we have open for animation. I'm not sure all that we're gonna bring on, but and then Mad Dog said, I'm gonna be honest, I was a bit skeptical about the new tech, but the latest post has convinced me that this is perfect. Yeah, and this is like, we're gonna go over a little bit here too. Is one of the things I also want to talk about, just because it's a pretty significant breakthrough, and I've gotten a lot of questions about how we did that test, how we ran that test, and kind of what our plans are to get everything production ready. So we're going to go over all that, and then I'm going to kind of show what's going to be the blackout process, which the more that like we just look at the production timeline and stuff, the more it's like anything we can do in Unreal, we are going to be doing it in Unreal as much as possible. And so that's we're going to be doing blackout in Unreal. I literally, before I started the stream, I set up the pipeline for that so I can start getting stuff over to the animators, and so I can start working on animating shots, and then and so we'll be able to get started with that, and then just basically continually refine it, and kick out a new version like every couple of days for us to review and keep tabs on, which will be cool. And then that way we can keep it on the timeline, because as of right now, this film is scheduled to release in a month. That is the planned deadline. If we have to miss it, we have to miss it. But that's the plan, and I think it'll. I think it's definitely doable, just because of the way that we've kind of scoped this specific production. And Luke, thank you so much for the one gifted. Luke's always out here reminding people more than I do. Becoming a channel member or a Patreon member is the best way to help us out and keep us making these films. So the eventual goal is just to get it to a place where we can just focus more time on this and get everybody compensated for their efforts. But all right, I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna show you guys the cool stuff. So and move myself up here. So for Heroes of the Galactic War, we moved everything into a Metahuman pipeline, and the big reason for that was so that everybody could share animation and rigs. That's super important for when you're working in an environment where you're doing like character work, essentially. Like if you have like a bunch of human characters, it's best just to choose one rig type that they're all going to be on. Who is the voice of Seif-chan? Well, we actually have two Seif-chans in the chat who have voiced Seif-chan in the past. And we have a third one you're probably going to be hearing soon. So that's yeah, but when did we say that Heroes of the Galactic War is going to come out again? The plan is for episode 1 to come out next month, and then it'll be roughly every 6 to 8 weeks after that. We're just going to keep rolling episodes, hoping that can continue to snowball. Okay, so Metahuman pipeline. So the big reason for that is just so everybody can share rigs and stuff, but it also helps whenever we want to do human characters. They can basically wear the armor as clothing instead of like having their head chopped off and put on a different body. And so this is like huge for the production, because it also gives us access to some super high-end rigs and stuff, which is like, out of the box, just makes our lives easier. So some of like the best animation rigs to be made are in Metahumans, and we're just taking advantage of that by converting all the models to fit within that pipeline ecosystem. Okay, a lot of that out of the way. A lot of mumbo jumbo. We're not Metahumans aren't anything new to our pipeline, but this is the first time we're fully embracing the ecosystem. So with that, facial animation has always been a tough thing for us to do. In New Frontiers, it was super rough, and the big reason was that there wasn't really any way to do it well. Essentially, the way that we did it for New Frontiers, which at the time was kind of a novelty, was basically the actors would record in front of their phones, and then you had to take it into a separate program and feed it into Unreal, and then record that, and then try to clean it up. And it always did pretty decent with like the eye movement, But like the mouths and stuff, it just really fell apart, and the overall face was pretty lacking, because it wasn't really detecting where to like shape muscles or anything like that. So fast forward, we put New Frontiers out, move into Room 24. Room 24 was a huge step up in the facial animation department. We used Metahuman animator, which like was super good because the actors did all the mocap. So I had the actors come to my house and they performed the whole thing in a mocap suit with the phone in front of their face. Rococo had sent us their head rig for that, and they did the whole performance, and then we ran it through the processing, but we had it basically do the most meticulous processing that it could. So to process a facial animation take took hours. We're talking, for that film, each character probably took like 4 to 6 hours to process their facial animation data, and it looks incredible, and it's extremely elevated by just the actors doing it. So that was like a huge step up as far as the facial animation goes. There were some other animation problems in that one. We weren't fully in the Metahuman ecosystem, which, like, now that we could be, if I could go back and redo Room 24, it would be like a near perfect short. I'm not even kidding. Maybe I'll remaster it one day for that purpose. But so anyways, so that was much better facial animation, but it was way too slow. You know, if Unreal crashed, you were kind of screwed, because then you'd have to start the 4 to 6 hour process all over again. So then going into for Liberty, I was like, okay, well, we'll just use Metahuman animator, not have it get super meticulous, and we'll just, like, you know, basically have the voice actors voice act, and then I'll kind of mime over them. So, because that's what I do with the mocap for a lot of these films, is like the actual like body motion. That's just me listening to the voice recording back, kind of having it memorized and unlock, and then like doing all the body motion capture. And I was like, I'll just do the same for the face, which at times looked fine, but then in other moments, let's say if I didn't anticipate the line correctly because I'm just trying to mimic it with my mouth, it never quite looked right, and it was always off, but it was significantly faster than what we did for Room 24. So this is all to say, New Frontiers, very janky technology that didn't exist yet. Room 24 technology exists, but the process to get the best possible thing is way too slow, and it requires the actors to be on set and record tons of data. Because that's the other thing, is when they recorded those takes, we're talking just the facial animation from the iPhone was probably like 30 gigs, 25 to 30 gigs per take. Jump to For Liberty. For Liberty uses the same approach, but it's much more scaled back, and I'm just miming it, and then we're just running it through the faster version of Metahuman Animator. Skip to Heroes of the Galactic War. What are we doing now? So, I like the freedom of being able to have the actors do the performance without having to worry about recording themselves, especially if they're in a recording booth. When we were doing Room 24, it was a little bit different because they were acting off of each other. They were all in the same space. They were in a physical space that was like where the film took place, as far as like it's a room with 4 walls kind of a thing. So there was a lot less mental hurdles to make. But when you're recording with people from all over the world, it's a lot easier to just have them record and be fully in it. That way, without having to worry about, like, well, what does my face look like? And, you know, all these other things. So I'd much rather them be able to just record and get the best audio performance, and then allow me to edit that performance. Because, like, let's say, take 1 and take 3 were really strong. And so I took the first part of take 1 and the last part of take 3, and I made it the best possible take that it could be. It allows me to go through and do that, right? So with that, we want to have that as an option so we get the best possible vocal performance from any given person. But then we need to also pair it up. So this is where we're at now. We have this new process in Unreal Engine. It's using all the same Metahuman animator stuff. They just now also have an option to be able to process it via an audio file. And it is lightning fast. I'm about to show you how fast it is. Does Unreal charge for this kind of application? No, not at our size. So Unreal basically, I think they've updated their terms to like bring the ceiling a little bit further down, but like you have to be making, I know it used to be $1 million in revenue or more, and I think it's either come down to 500 or 100,000. I don't quite remember, before you start paying for the licensed version of Unreal. But otherwise, they want people to do exactly what I'm doing, is build an entire pipeline, get so deeply invested in it that when you get to that point, or you're out in the workforce, or you're developing a game, or you're making virtual production cinematics or whatever, it's like, well, I know Unreal Engine because I learned it for free, and that's their business model. Okay, so lost my train of thought. But that's a good question. I do want everybody to know that you can go and download Unreal Engine for free and get access to all these tools. The character you see on screen, it's out there for you to start doing on your own as well. And even the characters, like getting them in the clothing, I have a whole 2-hour tutorial for the King Dino and above members that walks through how to make that clothing and put it on a metahuman character. So all that said, we're splitting it into 2 methods. One is going to be doing the for the mouth, we're going to be using this new audio capture, and then for the face, like the eyes, the forehead scrunching, the way that all your different muscles constrict and stuff, that'll be doing the same thing that For Liberty did, as far as like I'll just take what they're doing and I will kind of mime it, but then the audio portion will actually drive the facial animation, which facial animation is very tough to get right. And if you like go and watch New Frontiers, you can see where like most of the time the only driver is like the jaw. So like people kind of just talk like this, right? So there's not really any like, you have tons of muscles in your lips and your tongue and like around here that actually drive the way your mouth moves and what we perceive as natural. So that has now been solved. Okay, that's a ton of yapping and setup. So let me show you what that actually looks like. So I'm gonna go into, where do I have that saved up? It's in here. So I'm gonna open up this performance asset. Yep, that's fine. There we go. His head is a little cut off because this is basically how it appears under the hat, and show the collar. So like basically it's masked out, but there are a couple of, he's got a couple little arrows on the top of his head. The more I look at this character, the more detail I see. I like what you added for the detail in the facial hair. Thank you. Yeah, there's a little bit of peach fuzz and stuff, and that's all through Metahuman Creator and stuff. So it's pretty phenomenal what can be achieved. But all right, so we have this guy, right? Let's go ahead and I'm gonna feed it Admiral Test 2. I have not processed this clip at all. I imported it before I started the stream. So I'm going to hit that. It has this audio file. As you can see, there's no facial animation. I can play it back for a second.
Freedom must reign over every last.
It's a little quiet. Let's see if I can turn that up in this performance asset.
Star, through citizens' blood, spilled in our righteous wars.
So there you go. There's our voice actor Duncan. Absolutely crushing it. But now watch this. So I have this audio file in here, right? You saw me. I opened it up. I just changed it to Admiral 2. And this is how fast it goes. I'm going to hit process. Don't blink. "102 seconds." So, okay, so it's like, oh, sorry, the stream. I'm sorry, the stream crashed. It must have been while it was processing. But to give some context, so the shot is close to 2 minutes, or this recording. So I said 3. It's closer to 2. And it just processed all that facial animation.
We disavowed. Managed democracy is the true path. All who resist it shall suffer our wrath. White, yellow, blue, flying on all the worlds. Justice.
So there you go. That is the that's the animation, and then we'll save the asset and we'll just export that animation real quick, and we'll just call this test 2. It's save. We'll disable head movement in this instance, and we can put the Admiral's face mesh, create, and we'll give that a second. There we go. And now, if I go in, let's say I want to just take, so I have the cinematic that I did before, where it was like him doing that one line, right? So this one.
At this time, I would like to present the families with the capes of the fallen. They were honorable soldiers.
And so this one in particular, this was done, I did like the blinking and stuff. I just hand animated that real quick. But then let's say I want to just take this and I want to say get rid of the audio file. Well, hold up. Before I go too far, let's make a duplicate. Just so we keep that original. Okay, so we'll put the audio file for the Admiral Test 2, and we'll put the facial animation for the Admiral Test 2, which they line up perfectly as well. That's another huge thing, is it's already synced by doing it this way, because it it's driving off of that audio file, which means there's no making sure that everything is set up and synced properly. It's just like right there. So this is 2,468 frames. 2,468. Set the out point. And we're just gonna take this body animation and just duplicate it a whole bunch. Just it's just like an idling standing there while breathing. But now all the mouth animation is there. So you've watched on stream, and this is while I'm explaining it. The speed at which this would go would be incredibly fast while we're actually in production. So all of the facial mouth animation is there, and now we can just sit back and watch it, and the end result in the future would also include me recording my face to get the eye movement and the way that basically this top of your head moves and constricts and stuff to pull the skin.
As is customary with the Federation's embrace, please stand and salute
Here, let me turn him up a little bit.
for the Super Earth National Anthem. Freedom must reign over every last star, through citizens' blood spilled in our righteous wars. Honor their deaths, do your parts for the cause. Steadfast support of our regime is how humankind reigns supreme. No questions or doubt shall be allowed. Traitors will all be disavowed. Managed democracy is the true path. All who resist it shall suffer our wrath. White, yellow, blue, flying on all the worlds. Justice and hope are forever unfurled. Our way of life, galaxy-wide,
You can even see the
paved
tongue
with
in
the
there.
skulls of those who've died. Unslackable tide of Super Earth pride, a torrent that can't be satisfied. We sacrifice for paradise. Anything less will not suffice. Citizens rise, liberty rise, Super Earth rise up to the skies. Stay free for liberty, for democracy, for Super Earth.
There you
As
go.
is customary with the Federation's.
There you go. That is that is like you watched that entire audio clip get processed and give us the facial motion capture, and it's perfectly lip synced, which is insane. So once the eye detail and everything is in there, it's going to look flawless. Which is crazy, because to get remotely that close, when we did Room 24 about a year and a half ago, to get remotely that close took 4 to 6 hours, and like it looked incredible in that film. I still think that film probably has our best facial animation, but it just took so long, and there's no way we could like afford that much time to process something with, like, you know, when Unreal has to process something for that long, there is a very high likelihood that you're going to experience a crash. It's just too unreliable. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on chat real quick, and then we'll go over the animation setup, and then I'll probably call stream here pretty soon. But the perks of living in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the only other thing that's available near us is like very old internet or Spectrum, and I don't want either of those. I just popped in, and what in the After Effects is going on? We're in Unreal Engine. No After Effects. I was doing for work, I was doing some motion design stuff in Unreal Engine earlier, just to like show and be like, hey, like, we should be using this or investing some time or, you know, whatever in it. And then they were like, oh, wow, this is like incredible. And it happens every time I bring it up. And I'm like, we need to be using it more. Are you modeling the characters after the VAs? And if not, would you think about it in the future? So I would definitely do it. Room 24, all of the characters in that were modeled after the voice actors, which was super cool. So I would definitely consider it for the future, and we're gonna like kind of look into exploring certain aspects kind of like that. But it, you know, it's one of those things. The easiest way to do it is with the iPhone, people scanning their face, but it does take a lot of data. Like I have an iPhone specifically for, I bought an iPhone 12 off of Amazon. It was like $100. which is crazy because it's still a good phone. Like, as far from what I can tell, it's a good phone, but like because it's the iPhone 12, which I guess is pretty old at this point. It's yeah, it was like $100, but like it basically can use the depth sensor in the iPhone to help reconstruct the face in Metahuman Creator, which would be super cool. Duncan did do so good. Duncan's phenomenal. Duncan reminds me, I said this when I first heard his voice and it still rings true. It's like listening to an audio tape of Chronicles of Narnia or The Lord of the Rings. And like, I'm just waiting for him to be like, turn over the tape for chapter 4 or whatever. I know someone's mentioned it already, but the detail is just insane. I love it. Yeah, no, the detail that that's packed in, but also just like with our new like material setup and whatnot, it also has the outfits hold up pretty decently, especially like next to the metahumans. But like metahumans are insane, man. Like, look at that. That's crazy. And like they have like all these different skin maps and stuff too, just to reposition and blend between like how the blood moves under the skin and stuff. It's pretty insane. Holy topology. He did do great, yeah. Hi, what episode are you working on? This is episode 1. So this is the Polar Patriots and Masters of Ceremony episode. It lip sync just from audio, no video face tracking is crazy. Yeah, no, it's wild, and you can do video facial tracking too. Like, it's one of those things that like I look back on and like it makes me a little bit sad that like this technology didn't exist when we were making New Frontiers, but that's just part of like being on the edge of it, because what we did with New Frontiers would look like this now. So the actors doing the performances in front of their phone, you can now just give it that footage, just regular phone footage. It doesn't need to be depth footage or anything, which would be insane. Like it would be an insane leap in quality for that show. The show's just also like way too large and like tedious, and there's so many things I'd have to like it would require redoing the entire thing, because I would do the characters the same way that we're doing characters now. So that's something that's not going to happen, but like the fact that that's what in my brain, I was like, it should be possible to do this. And we found a workaround that like for the time was a decent workaround. But the fact that now you can get like Hollywood level facial motion capture from just a phone video or just an audio file, crazy. I assume you can go in after and manually adjust things as needed. Yep. So here, just to show what that looks like. So what's cool about Unreal is you can do what are called these additive layers. So you can have your animation. This clip is an animation clip, but then I can have an animation rig that on top of that animation, I can just go in and adjust this all in real time. And this is why like I don't see enough people talking about this stuff, because it is legitimately insane. Everybody's too focused on like the Gen AI stuff, but like look at this. I can animate like this. If I wanted to, if I was, I don't know what kind of show I'm doing, but I could be like, hey, my name's the Admiral, and I have a new mission for you. You know? But like you can have like total control of this stuff. Like let me grab in here, and you would just animate it like you would anything else. But like, see, look at that. We can just go in and affect things. So that's like the amount of control you have is insane. I even have like control over, I don't know how well you can see it, but like the way that they swallow and the way it affects the neck. See? Insane. Yes, we have technology. What episode are you the most excited to make? I'm really excited about all of them for different reasons. Every time we discuss a different one, I get excited. So like for this one, I got like super excited in the pre-production. I'm still very excited for it, and like listening to like the voice actors' takes and everything has me pretty pumped up. But then at the same time, we're talking about the next one, the episode 2, and like we're working on the writing of that one while we're working on the production of this one, which is the Urban Legends Cutting Edge Control Group and Force of Law. And that one now has me like giddy and excited. And at the same time, we're working on the Viper Commandos one, writing that one, and like, you know, we already started making character models for that one. As that's where the tutorial came from, and it was to test this new Metahuman workflow since they have the big guns. So we wanted to make sure like the whole pipeline worked for that, and it did, which was exciting. And then like, you know, and then like the ODST one, and then the Borderline Justice. You know I love my cowboys. But then after that is like the Truth Enforcers, which like I think writing wise is the one I'm looking most forward to. So yeah, it's like I'm excited for all of them for different reasons, and we're already discussing so many things with each of the episodes that like legitimately has me excited. I think at this point it's like, can we knock it out of the park enough with episode 1 to where we either get like the full funding or whatever it is that we need to continue to snowball and make every episode after that better and better and better. Like would be super awesome. My goal is for episode 1 to be, I don't want to say the worst one, but the worst one. You know, like, and I think it's really good. And all the technology we're developing, really good. But then like I want by the end of this series, when we do these 8 episodes, I want the last one to be so good that it just like blows everything else out of the water, even though we are going to such a bar that we haven't gone to before. So I'm very excited about that. All right, let me catch up on a couple of extra comments. If you were told the For Liberty movie did well when you began making it, would you have believed it? I mean, possibly. You know, I think my biggest thing with For Liberty was I didn't know if Helldivers was still going to be possible, or was still going to be popular by the time we finished it. So that was definitely a concern. But I mean, it still was. Obviously, it just passed 1.2 million views, so that's super awesome. Starting to wish I used Unreal instead of Blender. Dog, Blender is fantastic too. Blender, okay. Truth moment. Blender and Unreal Engine are the 2 leaders in animation. Everything's going out the window, especially in a world where there's all the Gen AI stuff. Learn Blender, learn Unreal Engine, because everything else is gonna go away, because it's impossible for them to sustain, because they can't just make Maya free, you know. That's not gonna work. You know, they can't just like make Redshift free, you know. there's so many things that are just going to like be upended and rooted. Blender is fantastic. I just don't like animating in Blender. So I enjoy animating in Unreal. But like Blender is caught up as far as like seeing stuff in real time and everything. Blender's fantastic. How do I see chat messages? Well, now I'm seeing that it's on top chat, not live chat. So let me change that real quick. I hate when YouTube does that. It just automatically changes it. But I have just like the YouTube studio up to have chat on the side. Okay. New Frontier Season 2? No. Are metahumans easier than CGing actors into a digital environment, or is it an aesthetic thing? So if you're talking about like green screen and stuff like that, this is like where I kind of stand like that. So like one, with that you need to shoot actors on a green screen, which like, you know, let's say we wanted this actor, so we have to get this costume or whatever, you know. It's like, you know, you could use cosplayers and do what you need to get what you need, but there's definitely going to be some potential issues there. I think the difference with like using metahumans and stuff and how we do things is there is a degree where even when it looks super good, it's like that's just a digital person, and you have to kind of like accept that to a certain degree, because green screening something in sucks. It's terrible. And so it's like if you're just building your story around it, it's like, yeah, there's just they're 3D models like anything else. It works super well, but like to show just like how far it can be pushed on a professional level, let me pull up when Unreal like first was demoing like the possibilities with metahumans and the new metahuman animator and stuff. This is from an actor, so this is like done by a professional studio, and they have a behind the scenes video that goes into it as well. That's really good. But this is like at a high level what you can do with metahumans. Okay, turn that down. So this is Unreal Engine. Yeah, I'll turn it up a little bit. I don't think the music is gonna kick me in the butt yet.
Damn, I'm old. It's my birthday today.
I'm gonna turn the music down just so YouTube doesn't get mad at me and just put my own music back on. But this is an actor walking around there in like, you know, full mocap suit and everything. But this is Unreal Engine. This is just like at the highest level for a studio. So I'm trying to like figure out is like, how do you do this in like a home environment pretty much. And we're getting closer and closer every single day. But yeah, this is Unreal Engine. This is a metahuman. This is done. I think they used. I don't think they used a phone, but like the phone stuff still looks super good. And you can even see there was like a moment where there was some Unreal Engine artifacting. But like, yeah, this is why I am so heavily invested in this. Is because this is what's possible. Obviously, this is like a huge team of people like working to achieve this result, but this is a metahuman in Unreal Engine. The Unreal Tournament episode of Secret Level, Unreal Engine, and that one I think they had to render in real time. Yeah, so the Unreal Tournament, that one, Blur Studio, part of their contract was that they had to render it in real time too. So that is what to achieve. But yeah, so they have this video, and then they have this behind the scenes video you can go watch where they go. I'll say they show the guy in the mocap. So there he is. Here he is in Unreal Engine. There's the metahuman. That's the actor. So that is how close they got the metahuman to look like the actor.
Is overreacted. For me, the close-up is the most art expressing the inner self.
But yeah, I highly recommend watching this. So they're using, this is the same thing that we were just in. And there you go. They're doing, this is exactly what we were just doing over here. And here it is playing back. It's you're looking at the same screen. Yeah, this really turned into a metahuman. Talk about metahumans stream. But yeah, that's what I'd like to work towards. That's where I think the future is. And then to show like another example, because I might as well. I don't think I'm gonna get into the animation block and stuff today, just because it's less interesting, and I need to also focus on like getting the spreadsheet up and stuff. But I'll show you guys like the environment for creating the metahumans, just because it kind of seems like something that folks are interested in. So I actually am working on the metahumans in a different project, so I'll jump out of this one. Go down to metahuman. Wait, is it metahuman tests or the other one? I think it's metahuman tests. We're about to find out. But yeah, I mean next week we'll definitely have an animation stream, just because like we have the radio edit, we're working on the blocking and everything. But all right, here we go. How much for one of them? Their face capture doodaddies. So if you have an iPhone, well, actually, if you have anything now, you can use like a webcam and stuff. The iPhone 12 does a pretty good job of capturing like the depth data and stuff. So it's pretty solid. The benefit to a camera like what they were using was there's two of them. So they look at your face like this and like capture two angles, and then it processes both angles to get a cleaner result. But like the iPhone does really well too. And then I got sent the Rococo head rig to make room 24. So that I think costs, it's definitely a little pricey. It's very comfortable. But you could always make your own, or even just like perform in front of your iPhone on a tripod, you know? But okay, so let me show you just like what it looks like to make the metahumans, because I think it also like helps put things into perspective. So I'm gonna duplicate just so I don't undo anything on accident. We'll wait for this to load up. But so this is Metahuman Creator. So this is how you make metahumans. Now it used to be a web, like a web browser based thing. which I do believe. I don't know if it's like the web version is still available, but what I liked about the web version was you didn't need a high-end PC to like put the Metahuman together. I know as like you get on lower grade hardware, it becomes extremely taxing to go through this process because you're basically asking the most of Unreal Engine. Because as you can see here with like this character, which like we can see them in here, which like another great thing about working in Unreal is you get these super high-end lighting conditions. So I can switch these out and just see the character in different lighting conditions. I can rotate that light and it looks really, really, really nice. I'll go full screen with this. I'm gonna go back to this tungsten light. And we'll set it to like right about there. So this would be a completed character. This character is ready to go out. You do like have to go through like a process to fix the clothing because some of the armor gets messed up in this process when it's like rigging it all, but it's because it can do that thing where you can size it to any size and whatnot. But so like if we hit play, we can see the character, like the hair and stuff is all simulated. As you can see, there's like that the hood's being pulled too much, but I've already fixed that in the finished version of this character. But this is nice because you can also like see them in several different circumstances or like expressions and stuff. So they have like a bunch of pre-made animations that you can go in and see your character performing in, right? So, but like there's a degree where I understand that people like kind of see this and they're like, okay, but like this is just like the finished result. What's it like actually working on the character? And it's exactly like this. And to prove it, I'm gonna switch to here just because it's a little bit easier to see and it'll probably show up on stream better. Let me just get the light and do like a good position. Do I play Halo Infinite? I do not. I play some Splitgate though. I like Splitgate. Okay, so to really show that, I'm gonna go ahead and on this version, I'm gonna remove the rig. It takes it a second, but we should be good now. But to show, oh nope, it's still loading. We're basically taking all the bones and stuff out of the characters. So we turned them back into, they're just a noodle. So there's no more animation, anything like that. But to show what it's like to work on a metahuman, I'll go into these transform tools. And just to show like how real time, and again, why I'm like, everybody should be talking about this kind of stuff. And, you know, not everything else is like, look at this. I can sculpt and make an entirely different character and run it in real time. And you can go down, like, you can get like extremely minute with how this all is, right? And it's every aspect of the character, even when they're like full body. You can affect everything. So like, you know, let's say, you know, we did want to affect the body and take her and make her significantly taller. Watch this. Oh. The clothing did not like that. The clothing should have followed, but it did not like how tall it made her. There we go. Let's try it again. There we go. But see how the clothing and everything is growing and resizing to match? That's insane, right? So bring it down to like something like this. And like, let's say like, you know, we want to make them a lot bigger. There you go. We'll bring that back down. And then, yeah, and I mean, it's like you have full custom control. So like, let's even say we want to go in here, and the hair does have some issues sometimes rendering on top, but it pops back in. I usually do the hair and everything last, but like, you know, let's say we wanted to change this person's eye color. There we go. Now they have different eyes. And like you can affect all of this detail, and you can go in and dial it all in with all this different stuff. You can do different colored eyes and whatnot. You can do makeup. Right? You can control, like there's a different freckle pattern. You can control how many freckles. It gets to insane levels. So like even, yeah, let's continue. So it's crazy. This is how you work on creating characters and telling stories and stuff. This is how fast it's happening. There's a little bit of wait time when you're like, okay, I'm done with the character, now finalize it. But like that's like 45, 50 seconds. It's crazy. And then you can do the same thing. I'll show it the hair real quick. But so you have all these different hairstyles and stuff. You know, let's say we wanted to give her a beard. Give it a moment. Da, 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 da. Oh. We might have gone too far. There we go. Beard. Let's remove the bird. Yes, you can do two different eye colors. Imagine if Helldivers 2 had this level of customization, it would be way more broken. I love Helldivers 2. I don't think this would add to the game, but I think when it comes to making cinematics, I think definitely. But yeah, and then like they have way more hair options than they used to, which is kind of nice. But I mean, let's say we wanted to like switch it to this, and like it's nice because all of this hair will also be like perfectly simulated with the head. And now that we're in the new like body system, it'll update with that too. There might be like some weird clipping issues that there's something on the body that didn't come from an original Metahuman like asset, but that's all stuff that we could adjust for. But I mean, it's insane that like this is the level and everything that we're at, where I can take all of this and then I can just say like, all right, I like the way my character looks and do whatever. But then on top of that, just to like even show why this ecosystem goes like a step beyond, here, Midnight wants me to add a mustache, which of course we're going the curly handlebar mustache. I'll give it a moment. Just like how we did cheese last week. There you go. There's a character with a beard or not a beard. She's got the long hair now. Long hair and a mustache. Like, let's say, so I'll save this so we can close it. And we'll get out of this. But so then, like, you know, we had our character we were originally working with, and then, like, so this is another version of her. Different clothes, but it's the same. It's the same body. It's the same face. It's just been altered. So, like, in this, she has some more makeup. She has more makeup. She has different clothes. And she has a different hairstyle, but it's the exact same character. And she's wearing the outfit that we already made for the honorary guard version. So making, like, setting up the clothing for her body took, like, literal, like, minutes. So in this specific instance, I took off the sash, and the helmet, and the gloves. But it's the exact same character. Now they're just in a different styling, which was something that was really hard to do, and it's why we didn't do it really at all in New Frontiers. New Frontiers had, like, very minimal changing of clothing or anything, because it was so hard and taxing to do, to where now it's just like, you know, I mean, shoot, let me just, why yap about it when I could just show you? Let me I already have her model exported and put out, so I'll do it on this file because it's just the clothing. So let's grab the parade commander. I've gone in and out of so many different things that I've lost a little bit of track. Yep, it looks like it's in here. Yeah, because there's the Admiral. So, like, let's say we wanted her to be wearing what the Admiral is wearing. There we go. There's his wardrobe. We'll go over to the fit. It should work without re-rigging the character. Okay, yeah. So this should work just fine. Let's drag in the Admiral outfit. And again, this is why we changed over to this. Well, my Zoom wasn't working. This is why we changed over to the Metahuman pipeline entirely. Is because now I can say, okay, I want Leanne, but she's been promoted. She's an Admiral now. So you double click on that. You wait a minute. I promise it's coming. It's coming. It'll be here soon. There we go. Oh, and we'll remove that one. I didn't know you could put on, I guess that makes sense. You can just put on multiple clothing items on a character. Because, like, if they were wearing, like, a hat separately or earrings separately. Am I going to be making another cheese diver? Maybe eventually. But now look at this. She's an Admiral now. She's wearing the same clothing that the Admiral is wearing, but the Admiral's a completely different body shape, completely different character. But they can share this now. That's the insane part of this whole ecosystem. I mean, there's a lot of crazy benefits to it, but, like, this just takes it so much further. And so it goes down to animation as well. Any animation we do, period, will be updated for us. I do want to do like a pack of just as many of the characters as we can. or like the base. What was I gonna say? The base Helldivers, like the B01 Helldivers. I think that'd be a fun little thing to do in addition. But yeah, so I mean, you know, we have these different clothing items that we can now put on her, and it will just change it out. So that's this turned into a why we're in the Metahuman ecosystem / the new way we're approaching facial animation. So there's still lots to do with like the blocking side of things to get episode 1 rolling, but it's all in a really good place. And then once we have that blocking, it's just knocking out animation after animation after animation. This episode was strategically set up to be manageable. And that's the way we're approaching each of them. So like if it's super intense, it's shorter. If it is like more dialogue heavy or something, it's like, well, how often are the characters wearing helmets? In the case of this episode, you know, there's very little with helmets off. So yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff. But yeah, just the fact that this is a way that you can work in Unreal Engine is crazy. And then like, you know, being able to preview and have your character and stress test them and everything, like it's crazy. And people are so focused on like, you know, like that generative AI can kind of do some things and like copy other stuff, and it's like, yeah, I guess, okay. I think this is way cooler and way more consistent, and like I showed you in that short, like it can get to crazy levels of dialed in, and so that's why I've been so invested in it. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the stream there. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. My voice is almost gone. Have you gained more paid subscribers through YouTube and Patreon? We've gotten a couple. You know, it goes up slowly. I don't really like expect much while we're in the actual production. You know, when we're really pushing for it, and every day we're posting videos and making posts and all that. You know, of course, people are going to be more gung-ho, but I think it's going to be one of those things where we're going to make episode 1 on the budget we have now, and we're gonna push around the time that episode 1 comes out to just be like, hey, this is what we're doing. We really want to do more of this for you guys. If you like it, spread the word, kind of a thing. And hoping that pushes us closer. But I do think it's going to be more realistic, that it's going to be like, I think by like episode 3 or 4 is probably when we'll see the switch of like getting to that point. But I'm not totally sure yet. But, all right, that's it. Have a wonderful day, folks. I'll let you watch this Metahuman just run this facial animation, and I'm gonna disappear. Bye-bye. See you later. Oh. Checking on you. Okay.